Every time I heard Skeletor say something, I couldn't help but envision him as the Joker from Batman the Animated Series. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Scott here from Can Geek Games and Collectibles. Welcome once again to the Can Geek YouTube channel. And this week we're talking about what I at least feel is the masterpiece that is Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelations. So yes, you heard me correct. I said masterpiece. And the reason I said that is because honestly, despite all the online hate that this series has received in the last 72 hours, I honestly think it's a great starting point for what could be a brand new series on Netflix should they decide they want to go that way. Now, first of all, I want to be very clear, we are going to discuss certain spoilers in this video, so you've all been warned, there are spoilers ahead. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about the voices that have been lent to this series. You have Sarah Michelle Gellar doing the voice for Teela. You have Liam Cunningham doing the voice for Man-at-Arms. You have Lena Headey doing the voice for Evil-Lyn. And of course, you have Mark Hamill doing the voice for Skeletor. Now, the voices for these characters were a little daunting for me to overcome. For example, every time I heard Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice, I couldn't help but think of these two iconic characters. Every time I heard Liam Cunningham's voice, I couldn't help but think about this very notable Game of Thrones character. And on the subject of Game of Thrones, every time I heard Lena Headey's voice, I really couldn't help but think about this character. And how badly I wanted to see her die at the hands of Jaime Lannister. And then of course there was Mark Hamill. Now, have you ever tried to look at a character like Skeletor and take that character seriously when you have the thoughts of this character running through your head? Yeah, so every time I heard Skeletor say something, I couldn't help but envision him as the Joker from Batman the Animated Series. And I'm going to tell you, it was kind of torture and it was kind of distracting. There is something to be said for the fact that the voice talent in this show was so overwhelmed with iconic star power that you couldn't help but hear them read their lines and immediately think about other characters that they have portrayed in popular culture. Now, the series itself starts with Castle Grayskull under siege from Skeletor and the armies of Snake Mountain. The sorceress sends out a cry for help to Adam and his comrades, who are involved in a royal ceremony proclaiming Teela as the new Man-at-Arms. Adam, of course, answers the call. He rushes off to defend Grayskull and ultimately, and very surprisingly, ends up dying in the process. Both Adam and Skeletor are wiped out of the series, or so we are led to believe anyways. The rest of the series takes an undetermined jump forward in time with Teela on her own adventure. She has distanced herself from her adopted father, Man-at-Arms. She's distanced herself from the royal court. She's carved out a new life for herself. It is only after a mysterious woman, who we later learn is Evil-Lyn, has contracted her services to procure a chalice for her, that she is drawn back in to the core story. A story revolving around the death of magic on Eternia. And the death of magic on Eternia ultimately leads to the death of the universe around it. This is ultimately the core story for Masters of the Universe Revelations. It is a story about a group of adventurers, not unlike a Dungeons & Dragons campaign, on an epic quest to save humanity. In this particular case, they are going to save humanity by rebuilding the Sword of Power, which was destroyed in the final conflict at Grayskull between He-Man and Skeletor. Now, there is another twist at the end that I'm not going to discuss here. If you've seen it, you are more than welcome to discuss that twist in the comments section down below. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are regarding that twist and where it's going to lead when Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 2 is released. But it is the fact that this series was so centered on a female character, and the fact that this series was focused on the adventures and the growth of this female character, that seems to have upset a group of fans. I've been reading various threads on Facebook, for the most part, to be honest with you, about how different people perceive Masters of the Universe Revelations. There have been some really good points made about the series, but there have also been a lot of negative comments made about the fact that this is another series being driven by woke culture, and the fact that Teela is effectively a Mary Sue. I'm not really sure I agree with that. It's a change in the times, right? It's the world we now live in. Personally, I enjoyed Masters of the Universe Revelations. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes about when Part 2 is released. And if you haven't given it a chance yet, I'd recommend, taking the 2.5 hours to actually sit down and watch it on Netflix. It is actually a really enjoyable watch. If I had one complaint about the series, it would be this. The first episode is really good. It's, really engaging. The middle 3 episodes tend to drag a little. There's some adventure in them, but they're a little slower moving. They're a slow burn. It is the 5th and final episode where things really happen to wrap up the first half of this series. So it is a 2.5 hour run approximately. It's like sitting down and watching, Marvel's Avengers Endgame, for example. I would give it a shot. Give Masters of the Universe Revelations a chance. And then, come back here and let me know what you think. I enjoyed it. Again, I'll come right out and say it. I would say that, if I was going to rate this series out of a 5-star review, it gets a 4.5 star from me. Again, that's my opinion, but frankly, Masters of the Universe Revelations was a good series, again, in my opinion. And I think it's going to lead into even better things down the road for Netflix with a new He-Man revival, potentially. Anyways, let me know what you think. As always, thanks very much for listening to me ramble and for watching this video. Wherever you're watching this from, be sure to stay safe and healthy. It's crazy times we live in still. But we'll talk again soon. Till then, ciao.